Welcome to Because I've Healed, the podcast where we talk about shaking the chains of expectations placed on us by the world. My name is Asha Wilkerson, and I'm a former high achieving attorney and college professor turned healing focused life coach for Black women. Each week, I'm bringing you a life lesson that started with healing. Not only will I explain the chains I was able to break, but also the success I experienced after. Let's get to healing. Hey y'all, I hope you are doing just fine. I just wanted to jump on here and record this video. I'm on my phone because I was thinking I have so many downloads and ideas, but then I wait too long to put them out there, whether it's typing them through email or setting them up to record through my podcast. So I just pulled out my phone. So the thing is a little bit crooked. I might be looking in a funny direction. You could see my laundry over there in the background. Everything's just a little different. But let me get to the point. I was thinking this morning or yesterday, both yesterday and this morning, I was talking to my mom, and I remember my mom saying when I was a kid that true peace and true happiness comes from within. She would say that all the time. Like, Asha, you have to get settled within yourself. True peace and true happiness comes from within. And she would say that to me in middle school, in high school. She would hate it when I would say that I was bored or that I was restless. And she'd be like, you got to find peace within. And I remember hearing that, and I remember when I would go through decision-making processes or like conflict with friends or, trying to decide what I wanted to do next. And she would say again, true peace comes from within. And it didn't really make sense, right? I mean, I got the words, I understood the words, but let me tell you, I feel like I have found peace. And the way that I have done that has been by getting really in tune with what I want and trusting myself to make the right decision for me. It sounds cliche, and I know I keep talking about it, and I keep going back to your intuition, but there's something about when you learn to trust yourself and trust that your desires are your desires and that your desires are okay. And then when you decide to make moves in alignment with those desires, that's, I feel like, when you find real peace, or at least that's how I have found real peace and contentment within myself. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect. It's not perfect at all. Like, I'm caught up in Portugal's immigration backlog. I'm supposed to head back to California in February for some work stuff that I'm really excited about. I don't know if I'll be able to get back in the country. I'm doing things. Some of the things are taking a little longer than what I would like to catch on business-wise, but there's a sense of peace and connectedness that I feel and trust that I'm on the right path, really trusting that I am on the right path and really trusting that it's all going to work out when it's supposed to. I have uttered those words a million times before. I've said them to other people. We all know the platitudes, but until you really feel it, you're just saying them kind of emptily. Is that a word? You're just saying them with a hollowness about them because you're saying them because you know you're supposed to, but you don't really understand or don't really feel in your body what they mean. So my message to you today is that if you are feeling unsettled about something, if you're trying to make a decision about something, whether it's a career, somebody you're dating, what to do next, what your purpose is in life, how you should interact with family, anything, look for the thing that will give you peace. But I don't even know that it's a destination. I think it's the process of trusting yourself, trusting that you know what is best for yourself. And the reason why I thought about my mom in alignment with this is because I learned very early on to care about what other people thought about me. My mom taught me to care about what other people thought about me because we grew up very isolated. I grew up very isolated. I was the only Black kid on my sports teams and my schools. My mom was the only Black administrator in the same school district where I attended school, and she was really good at her job. She was a middle school principal when I was in middle school, also when I was in elementary school, also when I was in high school. And I played sports with a lot of her kids, and people knew me. And she would tell me, Asha, people see you and you have to be careful. You have to protect your reputation and you have to protect my reputation, meaning hers. And it didn't feel like pressure at the time, but I learned very early on that people saw me differently. And it was true. And I was thinking, like, some of us, sometimes I get angry about the advice that I got, but I realized that advice got me through to this point right here. That advice may no longer apply, but it was the advice that worked to get me to where I am today. And so now, as I am shedding different pieces of advice and rules that no longer apply today, I'm really leaning into trusting myself and trusting my intuition and knowing that I can make the right decision for me no matter what somebody else's opinion is, no matter what somebody else's path is, no matter whether you understand me or not. So it's that process of recognizing the advice that we have been given has got us to where we are today. And also knowing that to get forward, to move forward from this point on, we have to lean into ourselves, lean into our intuition, lean into our process, lean into knowing that whatever decision that we make, as long as it is in alignment with who we are, what we want, and like how we're being asked to show up, it'll be okay. It will be okay. And as I'm learning, it's not the destination. It's not that I'm going to make a choice that's going to put me in a position that gives me the peace. It's the process of choosing something for me that becomes peaceful. And so even if the destination is not what I wanted or what I thought I was going to get, for example, a relationship, right? I was dating this guy here in Portugal, and I thought probably because of cultural differences, it probably wasn't going to work out, but it's ending sooner than what I anticipated. And there are some things, the old me is like, Asha, you probably should have known. Was it a waste of time? All this critical stuff, right? But when I went into it, I told myself, trust your instincts, trust how you feel when you're with this person, and enjoy the experience. And for the first time, I have not like tried to understand the outcome or tried to control the outcome or been so scared to open up. And even though it's ending sooner than what I thought that it might end, I feel so at peace with how the relationship went because I showed up the way that I wanted to. I trusted not that the relationship was going to work, but I trusted that I was going to know the right thing to do with the information that I was given. And I trusted myself to make the decision. I trusted that my intuition would kick in when it needed to. And so even though it's ending, there's this sense of peace that I feel because it's not about the outcome. It's about how I showed up in the process. So all of that to say, true peace really comes from within. And I get it now. But how you get to that true peace is really diving in to understand what it is that you want, to understand how you want to show up. What are the characteristics that you want to exhibit, and making decisions that are aligned with how you want to show up, with how you want to prioritize yourself, with how you want to be in this world. And first, you have to shed other people's opinions. You have to shed, quote unquote, doing the right thing. That's what I had to shed, both of those things. And you have to really lean in and practice trusting yourself. And I promise that when you do, the world will open up to you in ways you couldn't imagine, but you will experience a peace so profound that you couldn't have written about it. You couldn't have understood it. People talk about it and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever, I get it. You don't get it until you get it, right? So I hope that this is inspiring to you. I just wanted to send you this message. And if you have questions about how you can find your inner peace and trust your intuition, please send me a message. You can find me on Instagram and send me a DM, Asha Wilkerson ESQ, or you can send me an email at hello@ashawilkerson.com. All right, ciao. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. The best way to keep in touch is to go to my website, ashawilkerson.com, and join my email list. If you'd like more information about this episode that you just listened to, head to the show notes and you'll find all the details and all the links. See you next week.